Before the world knew him as one of the brightest stars in the global music scene, Jungkook's path to becoming the golden magne of BTS was far from ordinary. Many fans today might assume that his journey to success was smooth, but the truth is that Jungkook's career started with a surprising setback. As a young teenager in middle school, Jungkook appeared on Net's survival program Superstar K. At the time, the show was famous for discovering fresh talents, but for Jungkook, the journey ended almost as soon as it began. He was eliminated during the preliminary rounds, an outcome that could have discouraged many aspiring artists. But even in elimination, Jungkook left a mark. His raw talent, charisma, and unique aura caught the attention of multiple entertainment scouts. It wasn't long before 7 different agencies, including industry giants like JYP Entertainment, Starship, Cube, FNC, Wolim, and TS, began to extend offers. What seemed like a failed audition became proof of his potential. Industry insiders recognized his promise even before he had any formal training. This turning point, though brief, marked the beginning of a career that would soon reshape K-pop history. At only 15 years old, Jungkook was already faced with choices that would define his future. He stood at a crossroads. Should he join one of the large, established companies with powerful reputations, or take a risk with a relatively unknown label called Big Hit Entertainment? For many, the obvious choice would have been one of the bigger agencies, where resources and fame seemed guaranteed. Yet Jungkook's heart was drawn elsewhere, and the reason was deeply personal. According to Jungkook himself, the decision was heavily influenced by RM, then a trainee at Big Hit. Jungkook saw RM's extraordinary rap skills during practice and was struck by his energy, artistry, and vision. That single impression made him believe in Big Hit's potential, and he turned down the bigger companies in favor of a small agency with limited resources. What seemed risky at the time would later become one of the most important decisions in K-pop history. By joining Big Hit, Jungkook not only aligned his fate with RM and the other future members of BTS, but also contributed to creating the synergy that would define the group. Big Hit gave him space to grow, experiment, and discover himself without the rigid system that larger agencies often imposed. Yet this choice was not without its difficulties. Training was rigorous, and doubts often crept into Jungkook's mind. In those early days, he sometimes wondered whether singing was truly his path, or if dancing spoke more to his soul. His uncertainty grew when he was sent to the United States for a month-long dance training program. In America, Jungkook trained intensively, gaining exposure to international dance styles and pushing his body to new limits. For a while, he considered the possibility of pursuing a career more focused on dance. But encouragement from his fellow trainees, and a renewed sense of passion for performing, reignited his dream of being a singer. Through long nights of practice, endless rehearsals, and self-reflection, Jungkook decided to fully embrace his identity as both a vocalist and performer. The support from his bandmates during those uncertain years cannot be overstated. They believed in him even when he doubted himself. With their encouragement, Jungkook grew stronger, both technically and emotionally. These years of resilience shaped him into the artist millions would come to adore. His discipline, his ability to overcome fear, and his constant drive to improve became defining traits of his career. Fans often recall these moments not just as anecdotes, but as the very foundation of his strength as a performer. What makes Jungkook's story remarkable is not just the glittering success that followed, but the boldness of the decisions he made as a teenager. Choosing Big Hit over established giants was not the safe choice, but it was the choice that aligned with his instincts and admiration for RM. That decision ultimately helped give birth to BTS as we know them today. Without Jungkook's trust in his instincts, and without RM's influence during those formative years, the history of BTS might have looked very different. As Jungkook matured under Big Hit's wings, he didn't just grow as a singer. He grew into a complete performer. His vocals, once uncertain, became powerful, emotional, and versatile. His dancing, sharpened by international training, became one of his trademarks. And his ability to connect with audiences, whether on stage or through a camera, turned him into one of the most sought-after idols of his generation. Fans around the globe call him the Golden Magne, not simply because of his age, but because he mastered every area of performance with dedication and humility. Years later, looking back, Jungkook's early elimination on Superstar K feels almost poetic. What was once seen as a failure was actually the spark that started everything. Without that rejection, he might never have been scouted by so many agencies. Without being scouted, he might never have encountered Big Hit. And without Big Hit, there would be no BTS as the world knows it today. It's a powerful reminder that setbacks often disguise themselves as stepping stones. Jungkook's journey also highlights the importance of resilience in the face of doubt. Even when he questioned himself, he didn't stop working. Even when bigger opportunities seemed safer, he trusted his gut. These lessons echo far beyond the music industry. They inspire fans to embrace failure as part of growth, to trust their instincts even when others don't understand, and to chase dreams with courage rather than fear. In the years since, BTS has risen from a small label experiment to a global cultural phenomenon, and Jungkook has played an irreplaceable role in that success. His voice has become the soundtrack to countless fans' lives. His performances have brought people to tears. His artistry has broken barriers, proving that a young boy once rejected on a talent show could grow into a global superstar admired by millions. Jungkook's story from elimination to triumph is not just about music. It is about perseverance, mentorship, friendship, and above all, the courage to choose one's own path. From a shy middle schooler on Superstar K to the youngest member of BTS standing on the world's biggest stages, his journey reflects the power of determination and belief. What began as an uncertain audition became the very beginning of a legend. And what began as elimination became the prelude to global domination. Today, Jungkook stands not as the boy who was eliminated, but as the artist who rose beyond failure, inspiring an entire generation to believe that dreams are worth fighting for. As BTS began to rise in the Korean music industry, Jungkook's growth as both an artist and a person became increasingly visible. From their humble beginnings with songs like No More Dream and We Are Bulletproof, Jungkook stood out as the youngest, yet he carried himself with a sense of maturity and responsibility that belied his age. He became the member who consistently pushed himself to practice longer, sing stronger, and dance harder. It was this relentless drive that transformed him into the polished performer we see today. Yet behind the polish was still the boy who once faced rejection, and perhaps it was that very memory of failure that fueled his unshakable determination. He never wanted to take any opportunity for granted. Fans often remark how Jungkook seemed to embody the story of every dreamer who was told they weren't good enough. His early elimination from Superstar K mirrors the struggles of countless young people facing rejection in their own lives, but what makes his journey extraordinary is that he turned that rejection into fuel. He did not see it as the end, but as the first step toward something greater. And as BTS slowly began to climb the ranks of the industry, winning their first music show trophies and slowly expanding their fanbase, Jungkook's presence was often described as the glue that held performances together. His voice, smooth and versatile, could carry both the power of an anthem and the softness of a ballad. His dancing added sharpness and fluidity, complementing the group's intricate choreography. As BTS entered the global stage, Jungkook's influence became even more profound. When the group performed internationally, it was often his energy, his charisma, and his humility that captured audiences who were seeing BTS for the first time. He became known not just as the Golden Magne, but as a symbol of hope for millions of fans. People admired his artistry, but they also connected with his vulnerability. He spoke openly about his doubts, his struggles with self-confidence, and his constant desire to improve. In doing so, he reminded the world that even superstars are human, and that imperfection is part of growth. This authenticity became a key part of BTS's global success. While other groups sometimes projected only perfection, BTS, with Jungkook at the heart of their story, showed what it meant to struggle, to rise, to fall, and to stand again. Jungkook's honesty resonated across languages and cultures, making fans feel less alone in their own battles. His story of being eliminated on Superstar K but later dominating the world stage became a metaphor for resilience itself.